Hmm?
Can you tell I'm nervous from the thing?
Nervous enough, but no, you're fine. They know you're fine. So yes, hello. Welcome to Learn Math with me, Brian Sapinski. And it's been a couple of weeks since the school year started, but we finally, got a chance to give Brianna her time to shine with the
Finally! It's because
with.
for the first
Go, you
couple
tell a
of
story.
weeks or mostly what we were doing in math was making these all about me math posters.
Right, yeah, you're making the posters, and then you were doing some word problem based stuff and things like that, which we
Yeah.
will at some point.
Oh,
We
and
will.
Dad, while I was talking, the disco party happened.
The weird thing going on with our camera that the tint was
Yeah.
changing us for whatever reason, but that's another story for
It's
another
probably
time. But
because
anyway,
we're
okay,
currently recording at night.
we don't have to tell them that.
I'm a sucker for dumb details.
Yes, she is, of course, always. So, all right, let's get to business at hand. All right, but we got our first couple of official, topics that we could talk about to call this week one of fifth grade math, and some of it for her was kind of a review of what she was doing, toward the ends of fourth grade, which is
Yeah.
always good. You always want to recap where you've been so that you know how to properly move forward.
And so the summer slide doesn't affect too much.
Yeah,
Because then you would
exactly.
get
All right. Okay. Exactly.
three,
Okay.
and you would
All
remember
right.
all
So
this
we're gonna
stuff.
start with that in this circumstance. We're gonna talk about the ideas of not only place value but also being able to read numbers in a long word form, being able to write them in long word form, and a couple of other elements relating to the place value as well. So we'll talk about that first. So in taking, for instance, as an example. So when you have a number, such as this one with 6037, such as that. So saying that in words, first, if we're writing it out in the long form, we would say that how?
6,037.
Okay, right. And okay, with a number such as 32891, that would be
32,891.
okay. And now along the way, being able to identify any specific place value within those numbers. So for instance, going back to the 6037. So for instance, in that one, the 3 would represent what?
The 3 would represent 30.
Right, okay. And the 6 would
Since it's in the
represent,
tens place
right, in the tens place. Okay, and the 6 would represent what?
And the 6 represents 6,000 since it's in the thousands place.
Okay, let's go back to the 32891. How's about the 8? That represents
800.
okay, and let's say the 3.
30,000.
Because, as you were saying
Because
before.
it's in the 10,000s place.
Okay, right. Okay, now, staying with those numbers for a second. Another thing that she was doing with regards to the long form writing and with the place value and everything is that in further recognizing the place value of each number, she was also taking these numbers and breaking them down as a series of added multiplications, if that's a fair word to describe
so
it.
Like
So let's say for instance.
Blank times blank.
Okay, all right, okay. But we're gonna
blank times blank.
hello. We're gonna show it right now. So let's bring 6037 back to back to the forefront here. So for instance, now breaking that down as a series of multiplications all added together. So how would the breakdown of 6037 go? Starting with the 6.
Parentheses 6 times 1,000 plus um, parentheses.
Right. Yeah. Or we know the
3 times 10.
Okay.
Plus parentheses 7 times 1.
Right, exactly. Because each one is being multiplied by the appropriate power of 10, and we'll get to that pun in a second.
Huh?
I'll tell you in a minute. All right, don't worry. trust me on that. But each of the digits is being multiplied by its place value, which is denoted by a power of 10. Again, we'll talk about that more in a second. So now same thing with 32,891. That would here. Don't worry about the parentheses for a second. We know where those go. Just go through each one.
So it would be 3 times 10,000.
plus,
Because, like, I don't
plus,
have a piece of paper or
plus,
something. Plus 2 times 1,000.
plus,
8 times 100.
plus,
9 times 10.
plus.
1 times 1.
Okay,
That was
there.
the
So
easiest of the
so
bunch.
just like that. Okay, well, we have to. Well, the only thing that is any kind of hiccup in any of those is just if any place value has a zero, you just skip over that and go to the next one. Stuff. So
Yeah.
that's all it is. Okay, so with everything that we just saw with place value, whatever, and actually that was the second thing that she did during this week. That was the second lesson. So let me rewind now and get the first lesson. And here's the whole thing that I was, talking about. I said there was, sort of a, a pun, at least for me, relating to the power of 10. Drew Carey, host of The Price is Right now and stuff like that. Okay, right? Yes, exactly. You can tell I raised him right. Anyway, okay, but back to point. Just prior to his becoming the host of Price is Right, he had hosted a game show that had started the previous summer, and it was called The Power of 10. You've seen Card Sharks enough times before, right? And now you know the kind of the survey questions that they ask people and things like that. Power of 10 was strictly based around those type of surveys, and the idea was that, like, if you were able to predict within a specific range, what the result of each survey was, you won an increasing amount of money, and it kept being raised as the show indicated by the power of 10. You would start with You would start by getting $1,000 for the first right answer, and then they would keep multiplying it by 10, adding a zero each time to $10,000, to $100,000, to $1,000,000. And if you were gutsy enough to go for the very last question, which required you to get the answer right on the nose, $10,000,000. Okay, no, nobody ever did. Okay, but nobody ever did, but that's a story for another time. There was actually one person from here in Jersey that won $1,000,000 on the very first episode. He was the very first contestant, and he won the million. But okay, but like I said, now I'm just pointing. The point is,
Garden State Power.
there you go. Yes. Okay. But anyway, the point is, as I just explained, you notice how, as you multiply by 10 each time, you notice that the general digits of the number remain the same, but the decimal point of the number keeps moving over to the right and stuff like that. Now, I should also point out that if after you got like the first couple of questions right, the rule they had was that if you got a question wrong, you would be out of the game, you would walk away, and your money would be reduced by the power of 10. So if you had 100,000 and you were playing for the million and you got that question wrong, your 100,000 would be slashed in by 1/10 to 10,000. So again, the digits remaining the same, but again, now the decimal point moves to the left. And in these cases with whole numbers, you see that it's either adding zeros, dropping zeros, or things like that. We'll get to other numbers that will require a decimal at some point, again, further in the road. But just to present a couple more examples in that regard. So let's say, just as another example, let's take, for instance, if we had the number 8,530. Now, depending on how the phrasing of the question is in terms of the multiplication or division of 10, depending on how it's phrased, that's going to have an impact on the final number that you want. So if I were to ask you, what is 10 times as much as 8,530, you would say what?
Oh, this is gonna be like a tiny.
Just take a second.
So 85,300.
Okay, you're seeing that you'd have to multiply by 10 in that circumstance. But if the question instead said 8,530 is 10 times as much as what, then what would happen?
I would say 853.
Right, because in that case, that one, the number is reversed. They're giving you that 8,530 is already the 10 times, so they want you to take a step back in the decimal position to find what the original starting number was. So you have to recognize whether you're dealing with the before or the after. Now, the same thing is true it's if you're being given, instead of a times 10, that you're being given a division of 10, or as a fraction, that is 1/10. Again, the phrasing is very important. Let's take the number, for instance, 74,800. Now, first, if we were to say, what is 1/10 of 74,800, you would say what?
7,480.
Okay, because that would indicate a division of 10. But again, if we turn around and we said 74,800 is 1/10 of what, then it would actually be what?
748,000.
Right, exactly. Yes,
I'll
because
make sure I
again,
don't screw
that's the
that up.
after number, so that means it's already been divided by 10, so to come back to the original, you'd have to multiply it by 10. So that's where all of that placement goes. So reading the phrasing and recognizing the before and after, again, as I just said, very highly important. Let's just see how well you can handle the flip-flop and the difference. Okay, no, you've seen the super challenge lightning rounds that Joey has gone through. It's your turn now. Are you ready?
I guess.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask her a series of questions based on both of the concepts that we've just seen in terms of knowing when to multiply a number by 10, whether to divide a number by 10, and also periodically asking her questions about one of the digits in one of the numbers and to say, based on its current place value position at the time, what number does it actually stand for at the moment. Like to say, if a 7 is sitting in the hundreds position at the moment, to say that it represents 700, different things like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you 90 seconds, minute and a half, to try to get as many of these as you can. Now, if we were doing this as an actual game show, I would like to see that you would hopefully get 10 answers correct within the 90 seconds. All right. Now, for the sake of our friends playing along at home, we're going to go the whole 90 seconds in the first place because, like I said, you might get all 10. Maybe they didn't get the 10 yet. So we're gonna let the whole 90 seconds run so that they can play the round out in full and have a chance to judge yourselves honestly.
Play with us.
Exactly. Yeah. Play along with us and see how well you do. And well, let's hope for the best for everybody. All right. So these are the three numbers that you're going to be working with to start here. Now, just a couple of reminders about things. As I ask a question about any of these numbers, and the numbers are going to change based on whether you're adding a zero, taking away a zero, whatever the case is. The next time I ask a question about that same position, A, B, or C, you're going to be building off of the new number that's there now, or the one that's supposed to be there, because if you're wrong, I will have you fix it. Also, when you give me your new answer or whatever, say it in words as well. Okay, don't just add the zero or wipe away the zero. You gotta say it.
Oh, that would be challenging.
Well, that's part of the whole thing there. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so, okay, listen carefully. Okay. A is 1/10 as much as what? Go.
1/10 as much as 1,400.
Correct. What is 1/10 as much as C?
1/10 as much as C is
Wrong. No, 36,000. Change it. All right. Right now the 5.
Wait, this?
Yep. 3. Yep. Yes. Right now the 5 stands for what?
The 5 stands for 5,000.
Correct. What is 10 times as much as C?
10 times as much as C is this. Is the.
Gotta say it.
360,000.
Correct. B is 10 times as much as what?
10 times as much as 2,500.
Yes. Right now the 6 stands for what?
60,000.
Correct. What is 10 times as much as A?
10 times as much as A is 14,000.
Correct. What B is 1/10 as much as what?
1/10 as much as 25,000.
Yes. Right now, the 1 stands for what?
10,000.
Yes. C is 10 times as much as what?
10 times as much as 36,000.
Correct. What is 10 times as much as A?
No!
Okay. Yeah.
10 times as much as A would be.
10 times as much as A would have been 140,000. Okay, yeah. So
But I can't do that now.
you only had the one miss. Yeah, we didn't get through as many questions. We were like, you still got 9 correct in spite of that. So you were almost
Wait.
there if you didn't get cut off right there at the very end, stuff
Wait,
like that.
But I got 9 questions?
Yeah, you did get 9
9 out of
correct.
10.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, well, hopefully you guys did just as well with it or whatever. Please leave a comment and let us know how you did, fifth graders out there of the world. And
Wait.
if you enjoyed, if you enjoyed with this, I don't even know what you're writing there.
Like.
Oh, thumbs. Oh,
The like button.
I got another hand here. Just you know what to do. Like this video, share it with your friends and family, and anybody you know that has fifth grade students that could benefit from this. And be sure to subscribe to this channel to keep updated as new weekly lessons come about. And if you want some more examples, more questions, please feel free to email me at brian.sapinski@gmail.com, and we'll get you set up so that you can be able to do this as much as you need to practice it. So
to be honest, I just want an excuse to draw on the board.
the both of you, you're both hams in that regard. So until we see you again, I'm Brian Sapinski. She is Brianna, and we will see you guys very soon for another round of fifth grade math and more fun and stuff. Take care. We'll see you.